Welcome, guys. Welcome to Jack and Aiden's podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Beautiful Beats. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys. You guys have always been super kind to me. I've always known you guys, so
yeah,
appreciate you
it's
guys.
It's an honor to have you in here. Yeah, let's honestly start off with the first question.
Let's get it.
The biggest question I have for like all these artists is like, what made you get into music?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when I was in high school, I like never knew music as anything but like was on the radio. You know what I mean? Like just sitting in like the backseat of my parents' car. And I actually had a buddy, and he was like, "You gotta get Apple Music, bro. Like you gotta listen. Like there's Kanye just dropped an album." And I was like, "I don't listen to Kanye, bro." But I got Apple Music, and I was like, "Wow! Like there's this whole other world of music that like isn't on the radio." And like Kanye is like not only like a great artist, but also like one of the greatest producers ever. And like his production is crazy. So I was listening to this stuff, and I was like, "Dog, like how does he make this stuff?" So like I started going on like rabbit holes of like YouTube, like how to make beats, how does Kanye produce this, how does so-and-so produce this, which is like, when you get on YouTube, bro, and you start seeing that stuff, like that's how you get obsessed with stuff.
Oh yeah,
so,
for
like,
sure, yeah.
Once I started watching people doing it, I was like, oh, that's.
Was there like a certain YouTuber you watched that like you really like got hooked on?
Oh, so many of them. So like, back in the day, there wasn't a lot. Back in the day, like not that far back.
Yeah.
But like when I was in high school, there wasn't like people weren't posting content like that, bro. Like there was like maybe a couple guys, but the first guy that ever posted content, his name was Pat Ryan. And like I don't even know if he makes content anymore, but like he would just make like basic beats in Logic. Yeah. And it was like the coolest thing. I was like, oh, this is sick. So I liked him a lot. Yeah. I wouldn't say he's like some massive producer. Like I said, I don't even know if he makes music anymore, but like he would just show how he made beats, and it was super simple, super like user friendly, and I loved it. So.
That's nice. Yeah. Were there any like big like obstacles like during your early stage of producing, like any challenges?
Yeah. So like my biggest problem was like I wasn't super confident in myself. So like when I was in high school and even in college, I didn't tell anybody I was making music. Yeah. So like none of my closest friends didn't know I was posting on Instagram like making beats. They didn't know, like nobody knew. I told my parents and like my cousin, and like was just because I didn't want to like did it for a couple reasons. I was scared of what people would think. Right? Yeah. I was super worried that like one, I was ass, bro. Like I was. I
mean, you gotta start something.
Yeah, like you're just not very good at that stuff when you first start. Yeah. And then like I just wanted to build something without any pressure. Like I don't want to post a video of me making beats and like every time I go to the cafeteria, every time I go to class, someone's like, oh, like what'd you post, and then also you want your fans to be like organic, and no matter what you do, bro, like even you guys, like y'all know me as Eddie, and, like y'all know me from like playing basketball and stuff like that. So no matter what you hear from me, no matter what, it's always going to be like, oh, Eddie made this, and like I know Eddie from this, and like you'll subconsciously probably look at the music a little bit differently. Yeah. Whereas some kid from freaking like I don't know Finland is like, oh my god, like I just found this guy, and like all they know me for is music, which is way different than like me going, bro, please listen to my song. Like, you're a friend of mine. Please listen to my shit. Yeah. That's way different. It's not as organic. It's not as real. And it's not as genuine of a connection to the music. You feel forced to listen to it because I'm your friend. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that was an obstacle that... It was kind of good that I was worried what people thought, because it forced me to build my fan base and, like, followers that way, rather than me being like, hey, go listen to my stuff, guys. Like, you know. So that's interesting. Because at the end of the day, your friends have other interests probably. Their main interest probably isn't music, so it's hard to really build something.
So like following up on that, how like you didn't tell anyone you're scared. Do you have any advice for like us? Because like right now we're like posting content. I'll be honest, we are getting a lot of hate. People are making fun of us.
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
But like, do you have any advice for us to like keep going? And like obviously, like you don't want to listen to the hate. Like doing what you love.
Bro, it's funny. Like what y'all are in high school, maybe about to go. Aiden probably in college, right? Yeah. Bro, I talked to like 2 people that went to my high school. Maybe a little more than that.
Like right after?
Yeah, bro. Right after, I didn't talk to nobody.
Really?
Yeah, nobody, dog. Because I was just like, I don't know, bro. You find out a lot of people like. So there's a lot of relationships you have. Like you have those relationships just because of like on some random shit. Like y'all had math class together. It's like, that's we're friends, and like we talk, and it's like, okay, dog. Like I'm not saying y'all gotta like cut everybody off, but like. at the end of the day, you're really only going to be boys with like a couple people. Even after college, like I had some really close friends, and now it's just like they're doing their thing and I'm doing my thing. But you guys, it's a two-way street. They shouldn't hate, but also y'all shouldn't expect them to like enjoy it and understand it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you might have the vision, right, and can see it, but other people can't, bro.
Yeah.
Like other people, they can't fathom it. Like even it took my parents a long time to understand it. Like some people just can't comprehend what it looks like to do a podcast or to be a producer, because that's just not how they're wired.
Yeah.
They think, oh, I got to go be this, that, or the other. But to y'all, it's like, oh, we could easily build a podcast.
Yeah,
so if we do this, and that, we're good. And like, no way is the right or the wrong way. It's just how people think and how people are wired. So yeah, people are going to be like, oh, y'all ain't going to be able to do that. Everyone does a podcast. Like, but if y'all see the vision and y'all want to do it, then
for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people, they think outdated, you know?
They do. And like, some people think outdated, some people think safe too. Like, you know, being a producer might not be the greatest
it's a risk
thing to do, but unless you do it right? But like, some people might be like, I don't got the energy, the drive, or the consistency to do that. I might as well just go work this job, a 9 to 5, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah. But it's a different mindset and a different vision than some people have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, what types of people inspired you to take like a entrepreneurial route in life, like from a young age?
You know what's funny? I never realized this so I'm really close with my cousin Reno. I think you know him.
Yeah, I know him.
So I didn't have any brothers and sisters. I was an only child, but Reno was really close to me, and he brought up to a point to me. He was like, "Dude, you always like got really obsessed with something, and like just randomly became really good at it."
Yeah.
And like for me, it was like, okay, like I'm gonna use basketball as an example. I'm like an okay basketball player, but like I got obsessed with shooting threes, and that was it.
Yeah.
And like I just like got really good at that. Like I used to like build fucking like, I know Legos like sounds weird as a kid, but it's like I used to like buy the sets, break them down, and then build them into something new, which like at its core that is entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like as weird as that shit sounds, or like I got really obsessed with like drawing. So like I would just become obsessed and like want to build something and see how good I could get at it and see how far I could do. I just naturally did it as a kid, like randomly.
Yeah.
Music, like bro, I like sports more than I like music. But like music was a way where I was like, oh, I'm pretty good at it. I'm decent at it. 80% of it is really business. The music is whatever. It's just about how you market it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I like business. I like building shit. I like trying to get good at stuff. And then like music was just the avenue where I was like, oh, I can be an entrepreneur within music and have a business on that side. I like Gary Vee a lot.
Oh, I love Gary
Vee is.
I watch him a lot,
So I saw one video of Gary Vee, bro, and it was like when he was like, Gary Vee was still somebody, but like he basically said he was like, with the internet, he was like, you can talk about like, if you like the Smurfs, like the movie, you could talk about the Smurfs, and there's enough people out there that fuck with the Smurfs.
Yeah.
And like would be able to like you might make $70K a year talking about the Smurfs on YouTube because there's enough people that like it, and you're the person that they go to watch content about. Like, you know what I mean? Like when he said that, bro, I was like, oh fuck, like, I could really do anything on the internet because there's people out there that care about it.
Yeah. So when you like come like face like a challenge, like what do you do to like go over that? Like, do you have any strategies to like have a good mindset going into something? Like, cause sometimes when I get in like a tough situation, like I'll admit, like sometimes I'll quit, sometimes I'll break down. Yeah. Like, what is some advice you have to like, or some like stuff that helps you like get through those challenges?
I got this from JJ Redick, who's a hooper, but like when you have like when you're having like struggles, you have to look back. He calls them like your reference points, right? So for a basketball player, it might be like, hey, I'm going through a slump. Let's go watch the tape when you had 25 and went 6 for 6 from 3. It's like, hey, you can do it, right? The work you put in obviously helps. Your like challenges, right? If something seems challenging, you got to trust the work that you put in.
Right.
I think that's big. Like I've just gone through so much and done so much stuff where I'm like, okay, this is going to be tough, but like, oh, there's a little bit of this that was in this thing I did a little while ago, or like, oh, that part of this, comes back to that. But I don't know if that answers your question. But I try to build
build
my reference point so I can look back and be like, oh, I fucked up. Damn it, I wish I didn't do this. But hey, I'm capable of doing it. I just didn't do it right this time. Let's push on. But.
So another question I also have is, were your parents like really supportive in like your music decision? Like how did that go?
No. Okay, so y'all talk about dated and old school. My mom and dad are angels. Like they're the best people ever, but very conservative and very like safe and save your money and like, you know, God bless them. But when I first was starting this stuff, for you to understand what I do, you have to understand what social media is and the concept of social media in general. Yeah. And to them, like posting a video to make money and like posting songs to make money and reaching that many people, they can't conceptualize how many people you can reach with social media. So my dad is very analytical like me, so he can see the numbers. He's like, oh, you got this many views and this, that, and he's like, okay, and he can kind of understand it that way. My mom, on the other hand, I still don't think she understands it, but it's fine. Like she supports it. Obviously, it's like it took me to be like, hey, I'm making some money doing this and this and this, and I explained it to her, and I think she's getting it more and more. But at first, it was always, hey, you know, you should probably have a plan B, and I don't think you should do a plan A with a plan B.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you give everything you got with plan A and the plan A fails, then you find another plan A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if you have a plan B, you're not going to go as hard as the plan A.
Yeah, that's facts. And like that's like a cliche thing to say, but it's very true. Yeah. I did an internship. Do you know the company BeatStars? Like where people sell beats? Yeah. So I did an internship. Oh, really? Yeah, I did an internship with them. And I had an end of the year meeting, right? I was done with my internship. Yeah. And I had a meeting with the marketing director, right? So she is an employee. And then I had a meeting with the CEO. He's the guy that started the company. And I asked them about, like, you know, my future. I was like, how do you think I should do? The marketing girl, right, who is an employee, not the person that started the business, said, well, you should probably have a plan B. You should probably find something else. Like, this probably isn't a very viable thing to do. The CEO, who's an entrepreneur, not an employee, he said, bro, you got it. He's like, you got it all. You got the intangibles. You're doing this right. You're doing that right. He's like, you could easily do it. It's, once again, that goes back to the vision thing of the employee. Some people are meant to be employees, bro, and some people are meant to be entrepreneurs. That's just how they're wired.
Yeah. I think what you're saying earlier was interesting, too, about, like, even, like, getting into Legos or, like, whatever art. It teaches you to think, like, outside of the box.
Yeah, bro.
I think even, like, out of music and art, I think thinking outside of the box, that applies to, like, all areas of life. You know, it can help you so much.
Yeah, you can have a very narrow way of thinking. Yeah. And sometimes I still do. You know, I think, like, certain things should be done a certain way, and then I don't branch out. But, yeah, for sure.
So, with your music production and content creation, I think the newest thing you've done is you dropped a course, correct?
I did, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like people get a little scared of the course word because I think it can sometimes have a negative connotation of like maybe the information is out there or like it's not as valuable. But the course for me, it's just like as far as like I just try to build assets. Like every song I put out is an asset. Right, because as long as people are listening, it's going to make me money. It's song royalties are one of the greatest assets you could own on planet Earth.
Yeah, right.
Like Mariah Carey every year makes a fuck ton of money every year off. All I Want for Christmas Is You. Every Christmas she's going to make bank. Right. So like the same thing with the course. I was like, I have all this information in my head that can help people. Right. It can get somebody from nothing to something on content creation, on how to film videos. The little things that like took me years to figure out, you would be able to learn. I've tried to make it as affordable as I can, and just it's an asset. It's always going to be there. Once it's done, that's the beauty of a digital asset. Once it's done, it's done. And now if somebody wants to buy it, I don't have to do any more work. It's in link in bio, and someone can go buy it or whatever, and it's always going to be there. So I just felt like I had so much information in my head that I wanted to get it out and share it.
Yeah. I think last time we were talking about courses too a lot, and I think like that's kind of the new wave, you know, really like self-education because a lot of this information, I mean, we were talking about college, I mean, dropping, you know, thousands of dollars or buying a course where you could get really similar information.
Yeah, sometimes it does that.
That's all right. We all good.
We can edit the piece. I don't know why it does.
They'll turn on a second.
It's all good. There we go.
Let's keep going. We're good. Edit.
I love it. That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get really similar information, and I think that's kind of the new wave. Really, self-education is like, I think it's really important now.
Well, I tell people this, like, I learned everything on YouTube, and like, what's in my course, you could probably find in a YouTube video somewhere.
YouTube too.
But like, it's nice to have it all in one place, and you don't have to spend the time. And also, I think my perspective is a different perspective than what other people will give you. So that's how I look at it. Right.
So also I have a question.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in like the next 5 years, and do you have any like big future goals?
That's a good question. So honestly, man, like I don't try to set too many like very specific goals. Mm-hmm. My thing has always just been like, I'm just going to continue to grow, right? Yeah. It's going to be maybe some downs, some days, some ups. Yeah. It's just continue to grow. I've been blown away at this, like, as long as I just posted content consistently, that like...
Oh, I love your content.
I appreciate that. But like, the more and more opportunities came from it, as well as as well or as bad as I thought it was going, the opportunities just like continued to come. Work with this person, work with that person.
Sorry, do you think content's like a huge thing to grow your business out?
I mean, it's just like, I don't think you like need it, but it's just like, you could do that shit for free, bro. Yeah. People can see your stuff for free. I don't spend any money on advertising. Maybe I should because like there might be some things. The only thing I market through with money is songs. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'll put like every time we release a song, me and the artist might put like $100 each into running some ads to get people to listen to the song, and then let Spotify's algorithm do its thing. But as far as content goes, bro, if you post good enough stuff and people enjoy it and you bring value, like it's free. It's free. Yeah. It's free eyes. Yeah. It's free everything. Like it's crazy.
I know you follow Gary Vee.
Yeah, that's my guy. And
how long have you been creating content for?
I started my freshman year of college.
And what year was that?
That was 2018, 2017.
And he talks about this big thing since 2019, since the TikTok era of the TikTokification of social media. So how's that? Because you can have 0 followers or less than 100 followers and have posts go big and everyone see them. So how has that helped you now that TikTok and these big things have come out?
You know what's funny is I neglected TikTok for so long because I was like, oh, like this is whatever. And like sometimes the style of videos that would do well for me on Instagram wouldn't do well on TikTok, which is interesting. There's kind of like a feel and a look to each platform. Yeah. But actually very recently, and I'm talking like I've been posting shit for a long time, but very recently I kind of switched up a little bit my content. I kind of would I do some like motivational stuff, but now I do kind of like that split screen where it's like there's 2 things going on, me talking and you see the DAW or like how I'm making the music. And I didn't see a whole lot of sets on TikTok. Now those are doing extremely well.
It's eye-catching.
Right. So like I neglected TikTok, but now like I've actually put some time into it. Obviously Instagram is my main thing. Yeah. But it's nice when the TikTok is doing well. When I go to these companies and they want to promote, I can be like, oh, I'll also put it on TikTok. It has this potential. This video got this amount of views. If we do something similar to this. So TikTok is huge. I do think there's some people that are way more likely to thrive on TikTok than others, right? I think there's ways to do it. Like you kind of got to be very different because TikTok is like strictly the most viral of the viral. You're not even posting to your followers anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so it's an interesting platform. It's like a home run. It's like, Instagram you can hit singles, doubles, and triples, but TikTok it could be like a home run. That's kind of how I look at it.
On one of your Instagram posts one time, you like said that you like were scared to collab with like other artists. Yeah. Like what was the reason? Like what made you scared to like?
I don't know if it was. I think I was scared in the fact that I have trouble giving up the control, if that makes sense. So like, it does. I loved having the control of every aspect of a song, right? And I was like, bro, like. Maybe it's a little bit of my ego as well. It's like, no one can do this like me, or like, no one wants to hear this, or no one wants to hear that. But I've seen the most growth when I actually like get in rooms with people that are better than me, or like do things a different way, learn something like because someone does something that way. So like that's how I look at it now. It's like, wow, like I can really learn a lot just from like working with somebody. Yeah. Now I try to keep it to people that I actually am getting. It's an equal exchange, right? Yeah. There's some people still that are not worth my time to collaborate with when it comes to music, because it's like I'm not getting the value. It should be an even exchange of value. But yeah, I was scared, but I did find the fact that it was very helpful. And now I actually seek it. I don't really, like I said to him before we started, I was like, I really don't make beats on my own anymore because it's not as fun as when I'm making a beat with an artist in mind and they're in the studio and we're gonna make a song. You know, it's like I need the collaboration to be motivated now, which is interesting. Yeah.
So do you have any do you have any advice for the young kids that have like a goal they want to reach?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any advice for them?
My biggest thing is just when I was in college, I knew when I got out of college I wanted to be doing this full time. So my freshman year I was like, I'm going to just be consistent as hell. And hopefully by the time I'm out of school, this will be my full-time job.
Yeah.
But if I would have started, if I'd have bullshitted for freshman and sophomore year and not started until junior year, I would have had to get a job after school instead of like, hey, I'm making enough money where I can do this as a job. If I delayed myself 2 years, and if I have the job when I get out of school, then I may never have gotten to the point of full time because I would have always been working the other job and the main focus wouldn't have been this. Yeah. So start immediately. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to be like the greatest thing ever. Like y'all are starting. This is what starting looks like. Yeah. Dead ass. Like y'all got the mics hanging from here and the thing on there. Yeah. This is like, it's not a bad thing. This is what starting looks like. Like my setup was ass. I had a folding table, a laptop, and a keyboard, and that was it. But I would still set the camera up and record, and would still get some views. Yeah. And like, you just gotta build. Like you don't need the perfect stuff. I'm happy y'all are doing this. That's why I was like, I gotta come see it because like, good for you guys that you're starting. That's the key. That's my advice. Is start, build a little, and grow a little bit each day, and then next thing you know, it'll be exponential growth. That's my take.
I was gonna ask, relating back to the music. Do you ever think you'll try out something completely new with your sound, or maybe a different type of music, or just some sort of different vibe?
I'm open to it. Once again, it goes to like the inspiration and the motivation. If somebody comes to me and they give me a good enough proposal of like, hey, I'm this artist, and I think if we do like a dance track and I can sing like this and you do this, and I'm like, oh, that would be dope. And we try it, absolutely. It's got to make sense, though. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to make a country song to make a country song. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like, it's got to... And I still like to have, like, my fingerprints on the stuff, so, yeah.
What's, like, a day in the life of Beautiful Beats? Like, what's, like, a day in the life?
Wake up. If I'm at the rec.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, bust your ass and hoop. And then, I'm kidding. Usually I just work out, man, and then I try to post in the mornings. Like I switch my post time to like 10:30, and I try to stay on there for like an hour.
Is a certain post time, like a certain time, good? Like post, like
it's different for everybody. If you live in California, you're not going to be posting at 9 a.m. our time. At 6 a.m. LA. So look at your analytics. When I go to my analytics, it says my followers' most active time is at like noon for whatever reason. Okay. Because that, like, from all countries in the world, the average, the peak is at noon. So I'm like, okay, let me go a little bit before that. So maybe the post picks up a little bit of thing, and then at noon it's like hits, and then it goes. Yeah. So I post. I try to stay on and just respond to comments for like an hour, and then it's really what it is. Like this month, I'm working on an album for a kid. So around like 2:30 today, I'm gonna go into a studio. And we're going to be in there for 7 hours, and I'm just working on his album all month. But on days where it's like, hey, maybe you don't have a session, videos, right? I'll try to make videos, maybe work on a sample. I'll invite someone over to my studio to work on some stuff. But it's kind of different every day, to be honest. It's no set in stone thing. It's just whatever needs to be done. But the priority is always a video for Instagram. Short content videos are my priority for the most part.
So I know you spoke about you're working on an album with somebody, but do you have any personal projects or albums or maybe anything in the works?
Yeah. So my focus right now, which I think is different than like a lot of other producers, is I just want to work with as many artists as possible that I think are dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like I work with kind of like my set guys right now. This kid that I'm working with, I don't know if I'm allowed to even like say his name.
Yeah, you don't have to leak. No leaks. No.
Yeah, he's from. It's just because it's working with like a different manager. He's this really talented kid from LA, but like I just want to work with as many people as possible. So this album that I'm working on is going to be very dope, and I'm a big part of it.
I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. I think you guys will like it too. But that's my goal right now. I just want to put out as much dope music as possible with as many, and continue to build my Spotify and build my assets and my catalog of songs. That's my biggest focus as far as the music.
So one last thing, a big art, like an artist you work with a lot, Young Cressa.
Yeah.
So I heard you guys did go to the same high school, and how did like you guys like meet back up like after high school, after college, and like how did you find out?
Yeah. So this is once again, man, where I was super scared. Mm-hmm. I reached out to him and a buddy of mine, Ellie Waves, who both went to high school with me. Mm-hmm. I had physics with Ellie Waves, and Nick, Young Crusher, played basketball. And Ellie is in the song Fix Me, and Crusher's in the song Afterlife. Mm-hmm. I basically DM'd them very early on. I was like, hey guys, I know you guys make music. Once again, I was kind of itching for that collaboration. I was like, I'm not telling anybody. Like, if you guys want some beats, like I'll make some beats. And like we just kind of had like a conversation, and nothing came of it at all. But then one day I went over to Ellie Wave's house, and like we were working, and then he was like, hey, you know Nick? I was like, yeah, I know Nick. Remember I DM'd you guys? Nick came over, and then it just started going and going. And me and Nick just really had a good connection. I think he's really talented. So
yeah, that's cool.
He's easy to work with, and that's what I look for: talent, easy to work with, and good music. So yeah.
So it was an honor to have you on this podcast.
Yeah, guys,
it was great. Yeah. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I'm happy you guys are doing it, man. Like this is exciting.
Yeah.
I got some advice for your setup, but we'll talk.
Yeah, of course. Hey, it's a beginning.
We'll talk about that.
Have a good one, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Turn on post notifications. Next episode coming tomorrow. See you guys.
Check out Beautiful Beats.
Yeah, or don't, whatever you want.